Alright, my name's James, and I wanted to show you today something a little bit different. This is a document I put together that I would like to walk through with you. You can see the title here. So, break up with your power company and protect yourself from electricity rates with a solar and battery upgrade. So, um, I'll get into Amber in this document. At Electrifying Australia, we install solar and batteries to because you know how some homeowners sometimes get a little bit frustrated, or maybe even worried or stressed by how their electricity bills keep rising, maybe even faster than their income can keep up. So they often might have to cut back on how much energy they use, or you know cut back in other ways. So the way we help them with that is we install solar and batteries so that they can not only lower their electricity bills, but um, typically eliminate them. And uh, for battery owners that get a well-sized battery that can cover their usage into the night, they can they can actually make money exporting electricity on the wholesale market. And so I'll get into a little bit how that works with Amber compared to traditional retailers. First of all, a bit about history of electricity rates. You've probably noticed that their rates haven't always stayed the same on your electricity bills, or you might just notice the bills have gone up over time while your usage may have stayed about the same. So, um, yeah, I mean, been happening is that the rates have been going up, and the amount that solar owners get for exporting electricity to the grid has been going down. And if you're a solar owner, you probably noticed those credits going down on your electricity bills over time, and the rate that you get also going down. So, um, between 2004 to 2023, the electricity usage rates that retailers charge for how much energy you use has gone from 12 cents per kilowatt hour to 34 to 37 cents per kilowatt hour in 2024. So what's a kilowatt hour? Basically, a kilowatt hour is a unit of energy. So when you turn on lights, TV, air conditioning, anything that uses energy, it's using energy, and that's energy is measured in kilowatt hours. Okay, so an average home in Australia will use about 16 and a half kilowatt hours in a day. So on a hot summer day or on a cold winter evening, with air conditioning being the biggest contributor to energy usage, um, the daily use on those particular days with more air conditioning being used would be more. And then on like in spring and autumn, the average daily usage would typically be less. Okay, so that's often why summer and winter bills. I mean, you're probably aware like the reason, but just so we're clear, that's one of the reasons why summer and winter bills are higher. And with Sydney, the winter bill is typically highest, and same thing with anything further south. Um, in Queensland, not too sure if winter bills are still higher. Maybe summer bills are also quite high with air conditioning used for cooling. Um, so yeah, the rates for electricity usage in cents per kilowatt hour have gone from yet again have about tripled over 20 years. And if you look at your electricity meter, every time, if you've got a smart meter with a flashing red LED, every time that pulses one time, um, you will uh, that will use 1 watt hour. of energy. So if that flashes 1,000 times, there are 1,000 watt-hours in a kilowatt-hour. So if you stood in front of your meter and watched it flash 1,000 times, if you turn on a lot of things like vacuums, air conditioning, spa, pool, all that, it would flash very quickly, right? Whereas if you turn everything off, it would stop flashing. If you just turn on light, it would flash very slowly. Okay. So, yeah, where am I going with that? Just to give you a bit of understanding about what a kilowatt hour is, if you don't already know. And so with a tripling in rates over that time, that would work out to be about 4.969% compound inflation rate, which you can see in this calculation here, in Grok. I've worked it out. It's yeah, it just shows here. Okay. It's a bit slow because I've got a lot of tabs open here. Just checking a couple of things. All right, so that's the usage rate. The daily supply charge. That's also roughly tripled from 31 cents per day in 2004 to around 90 cents, $100 a day over recent years. Has increased for rural areas. It may be more than that, because the daily supply charge covers the cost of maintaining poles and wires. So that's going to be more for rural areas with more poles and wires compared to the amount of homes, less density, and yeah, also covers the costs of like using the meters, metering services charges as well. Okay, and then for people that have got solar, the amount that they get, known as the export rates, or also known as feed-in tariffs or FITs, have decreased. So in 2010, the federal government introduced a 60 cents per kilowatt hour gross feed-in tariff that you would get for all of the energy that you generate. So back then the systems were very small, like 1.5 kilowatts, but also much like the cost of solar panels have dropped by about 90% in 10 years, and continuing to reduce. And it's been about a similar reduction in the cost of batteries over 10 years as well. And they continue to reduce as well with more batteries, more and more batteries being produced for homes, for electric vehicles, and initially for like mobile phones and laptops. So the use for laptops and mobile phones lowered the cost of batteries, which then Tesla introduced laptop batteries into the Tesla Roadster. So that started to um, increase how much batteries were being used, and that helped to reduce the cost of batteries. And then big batteries were being used for in the grid, and that's also helped to reduce. And now more and more home batteries are being installed, and the federal government's national rebate is helping to facilitate that, with a big boom in the amount of batteries that have been installed since the rebate has come into effect from July 1st, 2025. Any questions on that? Feel free to post in the chat, the comments of the video, and I'll be happy to read and respond to those when I have a moment. So yeah, the export rates, they initially were 60 cents per kilowatt hour gross for all the energy that you generate in 2010. That was scrapped in 2016 as more and more people got solar, and it simply became, yes, unsustainable for that to continue. and over that time, the cost of solar also reduced a lot, which made it a lot more cost effective to get solar without having that feed-in tariff. Um, so and then since 2016, um, the rates have dropped to around typically 5 cents per kilowatt hour, and that's expected to continue to reduce, possibly to zero, maybe even into negative territory. And I'll get into a bit about that later. But basically, in the middle of the day, there's a lot of solar generation being generated. It's a lot of supply of electricity and not as much demand. Okay, so law of supply and demand. There's a lot of supply, not much demand, so it reduces the cost of electricity, the wholesale cost, which you get access to with Amber, and because of that, it means that is reducing the value of the export credits that solar owners are getting, because the most energy is generated in the middle of the day at noon when the sun's the strongest. Okay. So one of the biggest reasons that people have been like the usage rates have been going down, supply charges have been going up, and export rates have been going down, is because more and more people have been getting solar, and then batteries, and that's lowered their bills and made credits for them, but then the bills have gone up because traditional retailers they've continued to increase the rates so they can protect how much revenue and money they make. Okay. Um, yeah. Um, so because more people have been getting solar and batteries, they make retailers make less money from them, which means they've been increasing the rates to protect their revenues. Okay. And so many people have found that those to be quite ridiculous, because the export rates, the amount that they get per kilowatt hour for exporting to the grid has gone down to 5 cents per kilowatt hour, while they're being charged 34 to 37 or more cents per kilowatt hour for how much they use from the grid. So that's 5 cents per kilowatt hour, 35 cents. That's like 7 times as much that they're getting charged compared to how much they're sending. Okay, so a lot of people say to me that they found that ridiculous, and I would agree. But that's how it is because of lots of solar, and so more people are getting batteries, so they can, instead of just sending that exports for a pittance, they can store it, use it at night, and with Amber, export on the wholesale market to make money from that. Okay. Um, So Amber works a little bit differently to traditional retailers. I guess you probably got a feel for that. But based on what I've said so far, so but a little bit more on that. So the way they work is, rather than making money from how much energy you use with like the usage rates, like the 36 cents per kilowatt hour, which is typical at the moment. Instead of that, they will make money, and also from supply charges. They will also um, they will they have a flat monthly subscription fee, which is currently $25 per month. It is going up a little bit every year. It's $22 per day per month last year. Um, and in exchange for that subscription, what they do is they give you access to the wholesale rates. And so if you have a battery and you have solar, or even just having a battery without solar, you can charge. Well, let's focus on one. So for people who have solar and batteries, they can use their solar power to charge their battery. like you normally would with the battery. Use the battery to cover your nighttime energy usage. But with Amber, you can also export on the wholesale market, as I mentioned, to get up to $19 a kilowatt hour for that. Um, so um, I want to show a little bit about. No, it's getting into the weeds too much too soon. So I won't do that quite yet. I just want to give you a sneak peek though. So the internet's very slow. Here it is. So this spreadsheet is put together by Amy G in the Amber Electric users group, and shows the potential profit for batteries. So that it's taken raw data from AEMO uh, pricing, and we just want to show you. Because I mentioned the rates, the wholesale prices can get up to $19 per kilowatt hour. This shows the how many events have occurred in 5 minute intervals over a year. So there were 46 events with 5 minute intervals where the price went above $17 per kilowatt hour. 156 where it went above $10 per kilowatt hour. This is in New South Wales. 102 where it went above $3 per kilowatt hour. 125 where it went above 1. 504 when it went above 37 cents per kilowatt hour, and 6,040 events where it was above 22 cents per kilowatt hour. Okay. So this is between, by the way, I believe this is, I'm not sure if this is, I think this might be between 22 to 37 cents. Yeah. Or it might be the total amount. I wanted to show something else. This one. I'll come back. I can come back to this, but since I'm here, I'll keep going. So if you have a 54 kilowatt hour battery with a with a 20 kilowatt inverter, so kilowatt hours is a unit of energy. So a home will use 20 kilowatt hours in a day, and kilowatts is a unit of power. So if you have a light, it's a very dim light, is a low power light. If it's a very bright light, it's a higher powered light. A microwave will use about 1,000 watts or 1 kilowatt. And if you use that microwave for 1 hour, it will use, if you have a microwave on straight for 1 hour, it will use 1 kilowatt hour of energy. Okay. So you just want to illustrate that, the difference between kilowatts and kilowatt hours. So if you have a battery that can output 20 kilowatts, and the household average load power draw is 3 kilowatts, let's say the maximum feeding capacity is 17 kilowatts. So in 5 minutes, that can output 17 kilowatts times 5 divided by 60, and that's equal to 1.58 kilowatt hours. So it's going to get jumping around. What's going on here? 1.4 kilowatt hours can be fed in 5 minutes maximum. Okay, so using that figure, this gives like the amount that could be earned over a year with this particular battery size. Okay, and the total could be around $6,000 in earnings credits over a year with 54 kilowatt hours. This doesn't include lower price intervals like over 10 cents per kilowatt hour, for example. So the earnings could be more than this, but it's a good indication. Um, and then this sheet, yeah, just other scenarios as well with like a higher power output, same battery capacity, and others with yeah, still higher output. Um, uh, yeah, so the more inverter power output as well, the more you can make during price spikes. So I want to come back to this because I'm getting quite into the weeds. It's probably might have confused quite a lot of people. So I apologize for that. It's probably too early to get into that. Just wanted to give you an indication though. Might want to come back to that section if that didn't make much sense. I'm happy to answer any questions as well. So next point would be getting into more how Amber works. They put quite a few videos, two short ones and a long one. I would recommend watching those if you're interested in getting a battery or seeing how a battery would be able to help to avoid excessive bills and like lower or eliminate your bills and make money as well, and just like provide more future proofing for energy usage increasing and from rates going up. So yeah, recommend watching those. Then next points are some testimonials from people that have had batteries with Amber. So for example, David, he went from spending 3K annually to having 2,146 in credits. In credit. Uh, so you can see those in these links here. Rob, in Canberra, we installed 17.1 kilowatts of solar, which is 36 panels, 475-watt panels each. And so, like, just to compare, like an LED light bulb will use about, I don't know, 15 watts. So, microwave will use 1,000 watts. So, like, one panel will generate enough power at max capacity on a summer day to produce about, like, if there are two panels, it would produce about as much power as would a microwave would use. So yeah, we installed 17.1 kilowatts of solar for him and a 19 kilowatt hour SunGrow battery. That's like he's got a stack of six modules in 6 module batteries in one stack, and each module is 3.2 kilowatt hours. And his yeah, before he got his system, he spent about $1,500 over 6 months, which works out to be $250 per month on average. So that's since he got those, he didn't get bills between November and June. He did get a bill in July and August, but since then he's uh, he's installed the second gas heat thing, so he doesn't have to use the air conditioning as much. So that way he can make more money and avoid bills with Amber. Okay. Following along so far, if I confused you, feel free to comment in the video if you like any clarification. So yeah, he's saving about $250 a month. He's avoiding having to spend $250 per month that he would have had to have spent if he hadn't got a system. And he's getting payouts of $150 per month on average. So his total monthly savings, adding those two figures up, 250 plus 150 is about $400. And so annually that would work out to be savings of about 4,800. Okay, and then over 10 years, assuming a compound inflation rate of 4.69%, which is worked out here, he would save about 58,354 in total. So it's about 60,000. Okay. And so that's available, detailed calculations in this spreadsheet here. Any questions so far? So this tab in this sheet, okay, so hold on. Sorry, the laptop's slow because I've got a lot of tabs open. I recently just bought a new laptop so that this issue doesn't keep happening, but it's still waiting to come. What's going on? It's backing up with Zoom. It's lagging. It's all hell's breaking loose. Okay. So, gosh. I got to switch to the tab so it can show what. Oh gosh. Let's hide this. I'm trying to switch to the tab to show his bill breakdown. Gosh, so slow. What can I do? Just gonna close some tabs. I apologize, I can't pause the video either. So hopefully this will make it a bit faster now. Okay, so where were we? Back to okay, so back to here, Rob. We were going through that. Yeah, and this spreadsheet. And this one here. Okay, so I wanted to show this. So this is his electricity bills, a breakdown of that, and some average figures. So I want to go into that a little bit. Yeah, so this is a link that goes to the point in the doc that goes into more with Rob. So I'm going to jump to that. So okay, um, yeah, again, that's how much he saved from before and after, and yeah. So this is a screenshot of his bill at the end of June, showing he had $1,211 in credit, and at that point he hadn't had to pay for a bill yet. We're looking at adding on 32 kilowatt hours more of batteries. Um, yeah, so this is a spreadsheet that we were looking at. This is a system we installed for him at the moment. So you can see he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 modules in that stack, inverter on top, and he's got another inverter that connects just to the solar panels. So both connect to solar panels on the roof. That's his meter board. There's limited space to install more batteries on this wall because of clearance requirements from Windows. So we're going to install in another location. That's the plan. And this was his bills before getting solar and batteries. You can take a moment to read that. So you can see for the 90 days from August to October, he had a bill of $572 due, and then supply charges are 93.98 per day. So this is in 2023. Consumption charges, he was being charged only 25, 26 cents per kilowatt hour. It's quite low. Yeah. Then yeah, so was his bill from May to August, May to the 1st of August, and he was charged $942. So adding those two up, it's about $1,500. So what's 572? $572.61 for August to October 2023, and then $942.65 for 4th of May 2023 to 1st of August 2023. Okay, so adding those up, it's about $1,500. Am I boring you? It's okay if it's been boring. I try to make it more entertaining. So adding those two amounts up over 6 months, 2 quarterly bills, still slow. And close some more tabs. Oh, it's crashed. And close this. Jeez Louise. Just closing tabs. Using some windows. Again, I apologize, I can't pause this. It's a limitation with the recording software I'm using. Okay, let's close that too. Alright, so back to here. So adding those two amounts up, what's going on, comes to $15.26. Okay. Now, so that's his old bills before solar, and then this is afterwards. So this is the November bill, his first bill after getting a battery. So he got a $257 payout. Pretty cool. So he's $365 in credits, $108 in charges. So difference is $257 owed to him. So instead of him owing a bill to his retailer, Amber, they owe him $257. Okay, and uh, yeah, um, so you may like wonder like how are they going to stay in business if they owe him? Well, the way it works is uh, yeah, they are just making that it's just they're operating on the wholesale market, and it's kind of hard to like they're just like allowing him to make money on the wholesale market. It's not costing them. I mean, it costs to be a retailer to operate on the wholesale market. That costs money, and so that goes into their subscription fees. That's how they make money. Um, it's kind of hard to explain, but they do. Yeah. Um, I mean, I hope it kind of makes sense. They basically make the money off the subscription fee, and you make money on the wholesale market with exporting. So I hope that makes sense. Um, so yeah, this is November bill in the spreadsheet. This one here. I plug those numbers to the spreadsheet here. So November, $257 payout, right? As you can see that here. $365 credits and 108 in charges. You can see that here and here. And so same thing for all these other months. They're all here. In this, you can scroll down or click on the headings to jump to the next ones. And you can see the usage rates, how much he used in kilowatt hours, as well. Same thing for exports, the amount of kilowatt hours exported and the average rate for that. So you can see in November, his average export rate was 39.62 cents per kilowatt hour. His average usage rate was 31.6 cents per kilowatt hour. So compare the export rate of 40 cents a kilowatt hour with 5 cents that most solar owners are typically getting, so 8 times higher. So that's quite good, right? And the usage rate's a bit less than like the 34 to 37 cents per kilowatt hour. Next month, December, his usage rate is dropped to 13 cents, which is good. That's like, a third less than traditional rates. You got a payout of $279. His average export rate was 23 cents. So part of that is because he's like in December, it's the middle of summer, so he's generating more electricity, and so $345 in credits for December, $65 in charges. Again, you can see that here, $279 payout, and so it's the same thing. You can if you want to, you can cross check for each month. $131 for January. You can compare for each one, credits and charges if you want to. $61 for February. You can see that here. That's the payout. $131 for Jan. Oh wait, I just did that. For March, 57. For April, 120. Right. For May, 96. Same. For July, 207. These are all payouts. Okay, so these are all negative. Adding that up, $1,211 payouts. Average month, 150. Average quarterly, 450. Yeah. So, if he was going to use more energy, then the usage charge would go up. If he used more energy from the grid, the usage charge would go up. If he used more from his solar and battery system, that would not cost him any usage charge for that. But then that would mean that his credits would go down because there wouldn't be as much in the battery to export to the grid. However, in summer, he's still going to be generating more than what can be captured during the battery. So it makes sense he will save more by using more energy during the day. So again, like I think I said earlier, like turning the washing machine on, um, like just turning on more things during the day, so you can do that. Turn the washing on machine before he leaves for the day, or like on the weekends. You can also automate things to like turn on during the day, like air conditioning before he comes home. That's a possibility. It's smart. We have smart devices that are available that you can use to turn things on, like air conditioning, or loads, any loads like electrical loads that consume power, like ovens or air conditioning. We can install a device that will be able to turn that on. You can set a price threshold to turn it on if the price goes negative, so you can actually get paid to use energy like you can with an EV. And when price spikes, you can set a threshold to turn loads off, so you don't get copped out with like a large spike. Make sense? Any questions on that? Um, yeah, so his average export rate is 28 cents across those 8 months, and his average usage rate's 19 cents. So about half compared to traditional retailers, and the export rates, like what's like 28 divided by 5, it's like it's like 5 to 6 times as much, 5.6 times as much. Okay. Yeah. Next one. So yeah, there's all these bills. Next case study is EV Australia. So he's posted. That's the name that he goes by on X. There's a few other case studies with battery owners that have 2 Tesla Powerwalls or other batteries, and yeah, the links to them are here. So I'll go into those and then more case studies as well. So EV Australia, he's got 16 kilowatts of solar. That's like roughly double the amount of panels, or maybe probably more, like if they were installed like 2023 or before. He probably has more like 40 panels or something like that, since they were less efficient. And He's got two Tesla Powerwall 2s, and he's worked out that he saved 17,074 extra in his pocket over 2.5 years. So how that works, and he also doesn't have to pay for like refueling a internal combustion engine car, like a petrol car. He he's has spent very little in charging his EV. Okay, so um, he also got a third Tesla Power 2 in early 2025, which has increased how much he's earning. So in this particular post here, he's worked out that you can see that here. Um, oh, not that one. Yeah, this one, he shares how he has had $7,340 in credits between April 2022 and November 2024. And that's, yeah, he doesn't get bills, he doesn't pay any bills. He's gotten credits between $13 and $669. Okay. And yeah, so um, yeah, he's obviously quite happy about that. So posting on X quite a bit about how um, what the benefits he's gotten with Amber with his setup. Okay, and yeah, so he had one Power installed in 2017, the second in 2018, and his solar was installed in 2016. Okay, um, he also had his solar expanded in 2019. So over that time, he used 29.2 megawatt hours of energy. Um, so that would be 2,920 29,200 kilowatt hours. Okay, and um, his average electricity usage cost was 30 cents per kilowatt hour, roughly, for average prices over that time. So that works out, if you do the math on that, it's 8,760. I did it in this comment here. So, where is it? Anyway, I did respond to this. Anyway, if you do the math, it works out to be 8,760. Yeah, and he's added a daily supply charge, but he has to pay that anyway if it was with Amber, so I haven't counted that. So 8,760 plus 7,340, it works out to be yeah, $1,774 over 2.5 years. Okay. Um, yeah, and so back to here. So over that time, that would equate to annual savings of 6,829, monthly savings of 569 on average, monthly payouts on average of 244, a monthly avoided bill savings that he would have had to spend if he didn't have the system of 324. Okay, so over 10 years, assuming again that annual inflation rate of 4.69%, which is worked out in this link here, uh, that would compound to 78,900 in savings roughly over that time. Okay, um, so that doesn't include, like, that estimate doesn't include the degradation in battery. So like, the battery would have at least 70% of its capacity after 10 years. But Tesla have said to us that, and other battery manufacturers say that you expect the battery to last up to 15 or 20 years, more like 20 years if it's installed in a garage that's kept out of direct sunlight. Um, and yeah, uh, in that case, the capacity might be more like 50% after 20 years. But if it's installed outdoors with getting a lot of sun, um, like in Brisbane where it's hotter, it might be more like 35% capacity after 20 years. So yeah, could last at least the warranty is 10 years, but it should last probably 15 to 20 years. Okay. Um, yeah, so his export rates, I'll show that this shown below is 54 cents. So if he was using more, if he wasn't using as much, then he could have been earning more as well. But making money is not the biggest priority for everyone. It's just kind of like a nice bonus. He's also offsetting, having low costs from his renewable energy system. Um, yeah, that's about right. Um, yeah. And yeah, um, so this is going over the same thread that I just showed. And there's a link to that here. Um, yeah. And then this is his. Uh, sorry. This is his feed-in tariff rates that's shown in the Amber app. His average rates. So the rates are like the wholesale rates vary. Um, but averaged out over 12 months, it's 54 cents per kilowatt hour. Um, yeah, and then there's a link to that again. Um, so compare that rate, 54 cents, with like the 5 cents that's typical with most retailers at the moment, and that may reduce to 0 cents or negative in future. Okay. So in winter, he uh, he for the 1 week in winter, his average export rate was 280 something cents per kilowatt hour, 83. Okay, so yeah, some weeks of the year you can earn more money with amber, because there's more demand, like cold winter evenings or hot summer afternoons. Any questions so far? Um, yeah, so he's, as you can see, these all headings in the sidebar here, they're all what he's shared on X. So as you can see, he's shared quite a bit. His average usage rate is only 16.5 cents per kilowatt hour. Compare that with like 30 cents per kilowatt hour with most like typical electricity retailer plan. Um, and that rate will keep going up each year. Okay, that's what I just said. Okay, so next up, so this is an example of his earnings. He earned $630 over like 30 days, and $274 in a single day. Um, yeah. And so that's his usage cost on a single day, $274 negative, which means he's owed that much for the day. So he exported 41 kilowatt hours and earned $275 for that. and his usage was only 3.6 kilowatt hours. Okay. Now, 1 week later, he was owed $806 for the past 30 days on this. That was as of the 6th of December. His savings with an EV, so he drove 18,000 kilometers in a year and only spent about $280 in charging his vehicle. And he said, in fact, it's probably less than that, because of charging from solar at home. So he saved over $2,000, compared to how much that would have cost, fueling up to drive that many kilometers. Okay, so you can see the Tesla app shows that here. Okay, yeah, and it shows the petrol savings, so it's pretty good in that regard. If you have a Tesla EV, it will show that. It shows here on Christmas Day, you have the whole family over using aircon, charging his wife's Model Y, oven, loads of dishwashing done, and he still ended up with the credit for the day. And that credit was $1.50 for the day. Yeah, and that's the link again. So all these screenshots. Sorry, they have links. So you can see his credits were ranging from $13 to $563, and then a total balance of $691 in credit. Okay. Yeah, Richard posted in the comments saying that he's 600 in credit already over just 30 days, since he got a second Powerwall. Yeah. All right. Next one. He used 92 kilowatt hours of energy in a single day, and it only cost him $2.31. So just for comparison, 92 kilowatt hours is like 4.5 times what an average home would use. Four-bedroom home would use around 20 kilowatt hours a day. An average home would use 20, no, like 16.5 kilowatt hours. Okay, so very cheap power. Next one, charging from solar. He charged like 13 kilowatt hours, 28th of October, um, and that was added from solar. Yeah, you can see that there. So the Enver will show that. This is obviously if you have an EV to charge, and then he got paid 69 cents to use 54 kilowatt hours. Um, so yeah, so yeah, he used that to charge his Tesla cars. Used 22 kilowatt hours in the house, and 23 kilowatt hours was put into the Powerwall 2s, and that all cost him 69 cents. So that one screenshot's from the Tesla app, and then the other in the bottom right is from the Amber app, showing he was used 539% more than his typical usage, and that he earned some money that time, and then his usage as well. Next one, he got a $3,318 payout Nice. And he said he'll now pay off my hotel in Japan for holidays next month. Pretty cool. So that was in September. And there's a link again. So you can access, by the way, you can access this document by going to bit.ly/amber with capital A dash advantages. And that will take you to this document. Okay. Next one is you got a feed-in tariff of $589 per kilowatt hour. That was at 4:30 p.m. on presumably a hot summer afternoon. And the usage, the wholesale price for the usage was also high at that time, but he would have avoided having to draw from the grid because of his solar and battery system. At least typically, that would be what you'd expect. Yeah, so you can see that there. It will forecast the live price and also the forecast price ahead. He got a third Powell too, some screenshots about that. His average export rate went up to 68 cents per kilowatt hour over 3 months. And that this was like within not long after 3 months, which is why the 12-month average is lower. 283 cents per kilowatt hour average fit for the week. And then on the 12th of June, he was owed $238 like to him. Used 23 kilowatt hours, exported 30 kilowatt hours. You can see like the usage a lot in the middle of the day. What exported in the evening instead, and then so you would have used up taking advantage of cheaper prices during the day, and you can see the price. Yeah, it's at lower prices during the day, and then higher prices at night, up to $1, $15.92 up to around 8 p.m. in the in the evening. So he exported the energy over that time. He didn't use any energy, so avoided those higher prices and made money from exporting. Okay, so he's acting like a power station, making money. And this is all done automatically, by the way, within the Amber app, so he doesn't have to. I should have mentioned that earlier. It's all done automatically, so he doesn't have to lift a finger. He can control the battery manually if he wanted to, but most people just let this all done be automatically. Okay. Next one. So he was owed $104 in a single day and had earnings of $370 over 30 days. Yeah. This one he earned $150 in a day. This is again with 63 Tesla Powerwalls. Yeah. So you can see the earnings, the import costs is all shown on the home page of the. Oh, you can see how it looks on the Amber app. How much was generated, how much went to charge the battery, how much was imported. In this case, he exported 2.6 kilowatt hours, and how much was used by the home. Okay. Charging cheaply from the grid and solar. So he was able to charge, added 43 kilowatt hours. It cost him only $1.24. And yeah, 15 kilowatt hours was from solar, only 0.23 kilowatt hours from the battery, and charging cheaply from the grid for only 4 cents per kilowatt hour on average. So he charged 27 kilowatt hours, and it only cost him $1.24 to do that. Next, Richard, he got a second Powerwall. He earned $760 in the first 2 months of having that second Powerwall. So he said he doesn't get energy bills now, he gets energy earnings. And yeah, he says the earnings are more than the repayments that he's paying off on a over like more easily digestible payments rather than paying it all upfront. Okay, you just wrote a bit more about that. Same thing what I just said though. Yeah, so his average feed tariff over 13 months is 39 cents, exported 4,987. So you can do some maths on that. What's um, dollar 39 cents times by 4,987? That's equal to $1,944. 39 cents times 4,987 is equal to $1,944.93. Well, that's interesting. It automatically calculates it. That's very cool. Okay. Any questions so far? Just post a comment in the video and I'll respond when I can. So approaching winter, his power bill was still $41 in credit, and typically the winter bill is the highest. Okay. So you're saying in May his overall bill was $1,075 in credit. This is with 10 kilowatts of solar, 2 Powerwall 2s, and yeah, his average feed-in tariff for the month was 99 cents per kilowatt hours, and he exported 239 kilowatt hours to the grid. So he would have got about $239 in export credits for that. Yeah, and that's why I said he's $1,075 in credit. Okay. Next. So he showed what his average feed-in tariffs would look like. Here. So in 1 week it was 178 cents per kilowatt hour on average, exporting 94 kilowatt hours for that week. So you can do the math for what that works out to be in earnings, and 42.7 was his average feed-in tariff over 12 months at that time. Okay. And yeah, he's saying here like Amber will work if you've got a good sized battery, and it'll work better if you've got the discipline to adjust your household usage when the grid spikes to earn more with exporting energy. So but yeah, like I said, showed before, EV Australia, even like on Christmas Day, with everything, like the whole family around, oven, air conditioning, all that going, he still got a credit for that day, rather than a bill. However, yeah, if you can like shift to use more during the day, then that will mean you minimize the costs for that, and you maximize how much can be exported to the grid to make money from that. Okay. So again, like washing machine running during the day, turning on like automation with like catch power um, to soak up, get paid to use energy or like EVs would, like charging an EV during the day would be most profitable with that, and at night, like possibly being able to turn off loads with a cat's power device to minimize costs. That's getting more advanced though. Not everyone has to do that. You still get good benefits without doing that, especially with a bigger battery. Okay. Um, yeah. So just some more points we've been over. Jules, he's got two Powerwalls, only 6 kilowatts of solar, so a smaller system, but his average feed-in tariff is still 53.1 cents per kilowatt hour. Obviously, with a smaller system, he will, um, well, he would export less directly from solar, but he can still charge the battery during the day and export it, like charge the battery from the grid, especially during winter with less generation, and export more at night. So you can see here, um, he exported 63 kilowatt hours for the week. Okay. Um, it was 600 had a $697 owed or credit in May 2024. Um, and that's including powering his home plus charging his EV. So he not only saves the $300 to $400 that he would have had to pay for a power bill for that month, but he's also um, he's also he's also saved about the same amount, $300 to $400, that he would have had to pay to refuel a petrol vehicle, an ICE vehicle, internal combustion engine vehicle. Following along so far? Any questions on that? Feel free to comment in the video. Um, so in October, he got a $584 credit, and he's saying a lot of people asking questions. Yes, it's negative. They will pay me. I've never paid a bill since having batteries and being on Amber. That includes charging a car too, so no fuel costs either. He posted a video on how it works. That's just in a page too. Others replied, sharing their earnings. So David, he was owed $996 in November. He charges a Model 3, and Amber for EVs makes that stupidly cheap too. Next one, Jason. He got paid $787 for the same month. And then I laugh at the fact that they still provide a due date. So then, yeah, this is a video that Jules posted, a video that walks through his experience with Amber and the app. The higher export rates, they got up to $19 a kilowatt hour. Here it shows it was 60 cents a kilowatt hour. This was at 5:30 p.m. And then there's a forecast for the next half hour of $5 per kilowatt hour. So you can see it's a warning, high spike risk. So that at the same time, when the export rates are high, the usage rates are also high. So it's important to avoid drawing from the grid at those times or using energy and that will again maximize how much can be earned exporting. Again, but you don't have to do that. You can just use energy. If the battery is big enough, then you can draw from the battery instead of from the grid. Just you'd make less money because there'd be less energy reserved to export to the grid. And then so more case studies. So Francisco, he has 360 kilowatt hours of battery storage. So that's compared to like one Powerwall that has 13.5 kilowatt hours. He had 17 kilowatts of solar, but he's since upgraded to 60 kilowatts, and he makes 1 to 2K per month. They said the best we have ever done is making $1,400 in one night during a long spike. So average import is about 15 cents per kilowatt hour, and yep, they use about 150 kilowatt hours a day. At the time, with only 17 kilowatts of solar, they generated 100 kilowatt hours for each day on average. So this is his bill with 60 kilowatts of solar. You can see there's 1,153 in credits and only $114 in charges. So it'd be about $1,000 in credit, $1,000 payout. Next case study is Brooke. She's got 62 kilowatt hour car storage using vehicle to grid with a Wallbox Quasar 2 that's been discontinued. So she uses custom automation through the Home Assistant for managing the car, and the Smart Shift handles the house battery, which is a Tesla Powerwall 2, 10 kilowatts of solar, and average feed-in tariff of 35 cents per kilowatt hour. That's over 12 months. So this guy, he said he got earnings of $558 over 30 days with just one battery. So you can see that here. That's Neil Bolton. Usage cost $61 owed. Next one is usage costs with Brooke. Showed the average usage rate over 12 months is only 11 cents, 10.9. Next, $142 owed to them over 30 days. Blah, 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 blah. You can see all that there. Exports usage costs, 95% renewables. So the usage comes from 95% renewables. And so you can see on this day a lot of that was they exported a lot compared to how much they used. 9 kilowatt hours used versus 52 kilowatt hours exported. So they earn about $9, $10 for those exports, not too much. Kamal, he's got 13.2 kilowatts of solar, 2 Tesla Powerwalls, and a Model 3. His average feed-in tariff is 66 cents per kilowatt hour. Average usage rate is 11 cents. Hold on. He said he worked out the fit separately from solar and battery. So he said it was 66 cents per kilowatt hour fit from the battery, which is 6 times as much as the 11 cents per kilowatt hour that he's worked out that he gets from solar. So his average monthly credits are $329. And yeah, you can see this comment here and screenshot of his bills. So $178 payout, $691 payout. Total bills from Amber for 2 months, $939 in credit. So yeah, he said he manually calculates a separate fit from solar and battery to correctly estimate the battery payback period. He says he mostly disables Smart Shift and manually controls import, export with the help of the Net Zero app. So that would be more of an exception to the rule. Most people just let Amber do its thing with the automation. So again, there's more screenshots of his earnings: 243, 160, 1380, all that, up to $691 monthly payouts. And then I added that up. It works out to be $1,600 payouts on average per month. That'd be $320 average monthly. So that's with again with 2 Tesla Powerwalls, so pretty good. Pretty similar to the three. So EV Australia, he was only saving $244 per month. So this guy with 2 Tesla Powerwalls, the same amount of storage, he gets three. What is it? What I say? $320 per month versus $244 per month on average for EV Australia. So obviously EV Australia is using more energy with 2 EVs versus just one for Kamal. So that's increasing the avoided bill savings that he would have had to pay and reducing the export rates that he can get for that. But not too much of a difference, pretty similar. Next one is I think Kamal again. So 6 months on average, he'd only had it for that long, I guess, at the time. His average feed-in tariff was 32 cents per kilowatt hour. Okay. And his average usage rate was 14 cents. Okay. Next one, they have Amy at the time. She had 2 Alpha 5 kilowatt hours and a 5 kilowatt inverter. She's since got 30 kilowatt hours in total. So with the smaller battery, 10 kilowatt hours, her average monthly feed-in tariff was 8 cents per kilowatt hour. Yeah, she's done some, goes into more. But yeah, overall, lower credits because of a smaller battery. Yeah, but they don't really get bills there. They're mostly, so the rolling total is $7 in credit. Okay. Yeah, just goes into a bit of a usage patterns as well. Yeah. Next one, 18.4 kilowatt hours, 0.4 kilowatts of solar, and 10 kilowatt hour battery. So Michelle, 42 panels, and in credit over $500 with only a couple of bills since April last year. But it's always taken credits from the account, so she hasn't had to put money into it from her bank account to pay for the bills. So the biggest bill was this last one due to Amber using power from the battery for a pittance and filling up battery during demand window, which sucks. But overall, very happy with it, apart from the demand window, which sucks. Based in Singleton. Yeah, so yeah. Yeah, overall, very happy with it. That's the main thing. Next one, 20 kilowatts with 2 Powerwall 2s, even bigger solar system. So Jay uses Shelly IoT curtailment. That's not really necessary though. I mean, with Amber, it will curtailment will mean like when the export price goes negative, it will stop the battery from exporting, or it will stop any any power from being exported, which means you don't get charged if the export rate goes negative. Then if you had to export, if you didn't have the curtailment, then you could get charged for exporting when the export rate is negative, which means you could be charged for that. So with the curtailment, it stops you exporting when the export price goes negative, so that way you don't get charged for exporting. Make sense? Um, so just shows that he had about $118 owed to him over 30 days. And yeah, do, do, do. That's a to-do task for me to construct a scatter plot. Bidirectional charging. So it's expected to become available this year, where you can use electric vehicle like a Tesla or a BYD or any other compatible vehicle to send energy and power from your electric vehicle to your home, to supply it to the home and to the grid, so you can make money. And yeah, that could easily be like $1,000 per year, probably. The more the vehicle is home to do that, the more it can make money. The more you can save if it can charge from solar power during the day or from other cheap power. Yeah, some more information about bidirectional chargers that are in development in this link. And then just goes into more benefits of EVs. So you could earn potentially $3,000 per year from your electric car with vehicle to grid. Okay, there's a link to that here. Next time, Aton said he earned $128 in a day when a coal-fired power station tripped off. And yeah, so his battery stepped in and helped to keep the grid running. Yeah, so keep the lights on, and he made a profit doing that. So pretty cool. Helps to keep the lights on, and he makes a profit doing that. Following along so far? Any questions on that? Uh, Next one, Stephen, he earned $500 in a single day. It's pretty impressive. That's with yeah, you can see that. So yeah, uh, he generated 142 kilowatt hours for the day. 14.2 went to charge the battery. And next one, getting paid 34 cents to charge Mark's electric car. Okay. It's kind of too small to read. I'm going to increase the size of that. Okay, so this guy, he has a small 6.6 kilowatt system with just one Powerwall 2, and he's still earning hundreds per month. You can see his winter bill, he's still got some bills like $83, or like close to $100 each bill. But for the other months, they're all in credits from August 2023 to May 2024, and then from again August 2024 to January 2025. It's pretty cool, huh? Yeah. So his max credit was like up $350 for the month of January 2025. All right. Yeah. So earning more in summer with more exports, more being able to store it in the battery, and higher prices during the day. Whilst there's still so in summer, like there's still solar being generated, so that can be exported even when there are higher electricity prices from air conditioning. So it allows to earn more that way as well. And you can see he's plot a line of best fit, so it's down on the downtrend. So his costs are like on average have crossed over to being in credit from May 2023, and yeah, um, yeah, on a downward trend from there. So yeah, I hope that this document is maybe piqued your curiosity just a little bit to look further into battery options. To see how we might be able to help you at Electrifying Australia, like how we've been able to help other battery owners. So I hope you can see how it's not only possible to eliminate your electricity bills entirely, but to also get credits of hundreds of dollars per month, like other battery owners that I've showed you here. So I hope this helps, and um, please post in the comments if you've got any thoughts, questions, or would like to look into this a bit further. You can hop on our website, electrifyingaustralia.com.au, and um, it's got our contact details there. Um, I don't want to be posting my phone number on in my personal number on publicly, because then I get spammed. So, but our website, it's got uh yeah uh contact details here. Contact us. That's our address. We're based in Smithfield. 1-800 PV to EV. One thing I wanted to show was yeah. One thing I wanted to show was this. These are some photos um, of some results. Um, yeah, this album here. So showing that. So this is a map of some of the customers that we've been able to help. Not all of them. Mostly focused on like it's not all of them. Where there's gaps, it's just because I haven't added customers in those areas, but we do have not just in this area, but also in ACT and Queensland and Melbourne as well. So all these yellow dots are people that have got solar with us. And there's a few. I'm located in the few in the Blue Mountains, so the other colours have a different meaning. I forget what they are. The green ones, some of the customers that I've been able to help personally. Okay, so this is an Anchor battery. You can see it's the thinnest battery on the market. It's 15 centimeters thin, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4 modules plus an inverter on top. So 20, they're 5 kilowatt-hour modules each, and an inverter on top, which is probably 6 kilowatts, unless it's a 3-phase, which could be 10 kilowatts. So 20 kilowatt hours, 5 kilowatt hours each, 4 modules plus the inverter on top, which should be either 5 or 6 kilowatt hours for single phase, or 10 or 12 kilowatt hours for 3-phase. So because it's thin, it's good for getting a bin past on a narrow aisleway, or if you install it in the garage, it's good for not taking up too much space if you want to park a car in the garage. Okay. Another setup. So you can see there's 4 modules in one stack, plus the inverter on top here, and the customer's looking happy. I think this is Ibrahim on the left here, our installer. This is one of the solar installations we've done. And some battery setups. So this is Sungrow, a small 9.6 kilowatt hour battery. Another Sungrow, Tesla Powerwall 2, that one. So the Tesla Powerwall 2s, they've got the Tesla in letters, whereas the Powerwall 3 just has the logo. So installed on a custom built alcove, completed the job promptly. This is a Bluetti battery, so there are 3 battery modules plus the inverter on top, so 5 kilowatt hours each, so 15 kilowatt hours. And this guy's also showing off 2 portable power stations that you can use to charge a laptop or whatever you like. You can plug in appliances to that. Okay, so this guy's saying how he got 15 kilowatts plus kilowatts of solar plus a 25.6 kilowatt hour battery, probably a Sungrow battery, and yeah, giving us some compliments there. Sungrow. Just gonna maximize this. Yep, Sungrow again. Sungrow. This is the same guy. Sungrow. Yeah, battery review. And yeah, Anker battery, 20 kilowatt hours. This is some screenshots from Amber. I think I've already showed enough, but I'll just flick through these. That's what the Anker battery looks like again. Some screenshots from the same document that I showed of Rob, the credits he's been getting. Solar. This is our stall. Was our stall at the Easter show. So you can see that's one of the ICO panels that we installed. And this is Thomas Bywater from ICO. Sam, one of our good friendly consultants, is sitting in the right here, and it's our Anker battery. There you go. It's Shamal, our founder. So you can see the display of the Anker battery here. You can see it will show the capacity percentage in the middle, how much is being how many kilowatts are going to the grid and to like charging the battery. Yeah. And again, solar, just some more of our solar installations. We used to just install GE inverters when we weren't installing batteries, just solar panels, but we don't really install many. Now most of our installations that we do would be with a battery. Solar, 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 solar. ICO panels, so they've got 24.1% efficiency. I think that's the highest efficiency on the market for panels. This is an alpha battery. We don't install those now. An LG Chem, we don't install those now either. That's we're a silver rated supplier on solar quotes. Yeah, so we've got an average of score of 4.9 star reviews on solar quotes, and we've got a lot more on Google Maps. Okay, that's all I wanted to show. Thanks for watching, and I hope that's been helpful. All the best.